Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another special episode of Code Man Movies. We are going to do something different today. I'm just trying to do a few extra videos for the end of the year. I haven't quite done a video every week like I would like to. I think I've done 37 so far. By the time the year's up, I'll be at 45, something like that, which is more acceptable in my opinion, closer to almost every week. I still missed about a month's worth, but hey, I'll add a few extra videos to help build it up a little bit. So today we're going to talk about the Phase 4 MCU, the Phase 4 MCU. I'm not going to say movies because there's some TV shows and such in here too. Before we start though, Happy Turkey Day! Well, Happy Turkey Week. Can you even see this shirt? I can't even tell. Happy Turkey Day! Gobble, 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 woo, 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 woo. Yeah, it is Thanksgiving week, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, when I'm filming this, I guess. But anyways, guys, I hope you had an enjoyable Thanksgiving. I hope you did some Black Friday shopping and got some stuff. Cyber Monday is still tomorrow, so I guess you technically still can get Black Friday stuff. I think certain deals are still ending tonight, so I'm still maybe picking up a few more things. Overall, this year was kind of as far as Black Friday goes. So, not exactly a great year for that, but still enjoyable. But yeah, guys, without further ado, let's start talking about the MCU. Before you do that, though, let's grab our beverages. I am drinking a peanut butter whiskey mixed with some Sprite. You know what? I need to add cherry juice to it. It'd be like a peanut butter jelly. Yeah, whatever. Still enjoyable, right? All right. Without further ado, let's start talking about the MCU. Before we actually do talk, this is the order that I have chosen to put it in. It's not right in everyone's book. It's not even right in my book necessarily. It's just kind of the order that I chose to put it in. And the Phase 4 MCU has been kind of a disappointment for me. A lot of these things are just It's fine. I enjoyed it. I don't hate it. And I would say nothing in this list I hate. It's kind of been a disappointing phase in my opinion. And I hope that Phase 5 is a little better, because there hasn't been anything in this phase that I've been over the moon about necessarily. Well, there's been a couple, I shouldn't say that, but this hasn't been incredible the way Phase 3 was. Phase 3, I mean, there was Infinity War, Endgame, Ragnarok, Black Panther. It's so many wonderful things in that phase. This phase was just kind of So yeah, let's get started talking about Phase 4 MCU. Starting with Werewolf by Night. This is not the bottom of my ranking. I want to make that very clear. I watched this and it is enjoyable. It is beautifully done. The black and white, the practical looking effects and such. This is done very beautifully well. My problem is it just it really doesn't take place in the MCU at all. I didn't really find a connection to where this really takes place in the MCU. So for me, I'm really not even going to rank this. I wanted to talk about it and say how much I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to be ranking it. If I did rank it, it would probably be towards the middle. I'm so glad Michael Giacchino has gotten his first ever directing gig, and he could be a really great director, and I hope he pursues this, because he does do a great job. But this isn't something I'm really going to be ranking. I think there's a total of 16 spots. I have a couple other things that I'm kind of cheating with, or making my own, I guess, with this list. This is one of those things where I don't even want to rank it. It doesn't feel like a Marvel thing. Therefore, I'm not even going to really put it in there, because it just doesn't even feel like a Marvel thing. So, Werewolf by Night, really good. It's almost like an honorable mention more than anything. But I'm not going to be putting it in this ranking just because my brain doesn't work like that, I guess. I don't know. So, the first thing, which is number 16, I believe, on the list, is Eternals, guys. This is at the bottom of the list for me. Again, I don't hate this movie. I've watched it twice, and I found it to be kind of boring, honestly. More than anything, this is the most boring thing in Phase 4 that I think we got. The cast is stellar. All the acting is really great. Uh, the story itself didn't really work for me. I think this would have worked a lot better as a miniseries, whereas other things that we talk about a little later on here shouldn't have been miniseries. This shouldn't have been a movie. It should have been a series. Chloe Zhao did fantastic directing this. I love how everything's like on location in this movie. I love a lot of the practicality of this movie. It's just that I don't remember any of the characters. I don't know what any of these people do necessarily. The twist, I saw coming a mile away. This just wasn't my favorite movie. And this is the one thing in Phase 4 that I just truly, I forget about it more and more every day. And yeah, I've seen it only twice, but some of the TV shows I've only watched once. So, and I remember those better than this. And I just found Eternals to be kind of forgettable, guys. Yeah, I think it's the lowest rated Marvel movie, so I guess I'm not the only one in saying this. I'm probably not the only one that has this. I understand. Shut up, Siri. Siri's talking to me. Like, she should boss me around. She says she doesn't understand me. You know what? I don't need Siri to understand me. I don't need Siri to understand me. You understand me, don't you? Anyways, we were talking about Eternals. Is this still going? Oh, good. We were talking about Eternals. It's fine, guys. This movie's fine. It's just, I don't know. I found it very forgettable. And that's why I have it at the bottom of the list. It's not bad. It's not bad. Honestly, a couple other things could be put in the same spot as this. It's just I have Eternals slightly lower than everything else. Next up is She-Hulk, guys. I liked the first 2 episodes of this. And then with every single episode pretty much after that, it went downhill. And then Daredevil came along. The Daredevil episode went up a bit, and it got better. And then the finale came around, which I like the idea of the finale, where she's breaking into the real world and, you know, talking to Kevin, the robot, who's doing it all. I kind of like that idea. I just think how they did it wasn't the greatest. It went a little too far. It thought it was funnier and more creative than it actually was. And the fact that we get out of this real world thing and back into the TV show and everything's just, oh, that's the end. Daredevil's just there. There was big fights and everything. It was just, it left me feeling cold. And Tatiana Maslany, fantastic as She-Hulk. I can't wait to see more of her and more in the MCU. The show's also called Attorney at Law, and there's not a lot of law in this show. I think I've called it a movie. It's a show. It's a miniseries. There's just not a lot of law stuff. There's not a lot of courtroom drama in this, like I kind of was thinking it was going to be, with the subtitle Attorney at Law. I mean, you'd have thought there was going to be more. I liked the idea of it focusing on, I like the idea of romantic relationship too in this, but it just doesn't work for me. And what they did is have this twist that wasn't that creative. We all saw it a mile away, and it just, at the end of the day, the show was just very disappointing to me. There's a lot of good here. There's a lot of good in all of the things we'll be talking about today, but just, they went the wrong direction with it. And this show, out of all the shows, is the most forgettable for me. It was just very Every week after I'd watch the episode, I'd go, after the first 2. And then that Daredevil one, and it gave me hope, and then it just went downhill from there. A lot of great ideas in this. Just, at the end of the day, it was And I want more than from the MCU, you know? Next up, guys, Thor, Love and Thunder. That's good. I have talked about this movie quite a bit on this channel. You can go back and they're labeled the show because, yeah. I did not like Thor, Love and Thunder. I was really excited for Thor, Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi was coming back. Natalie Portman was coming back. And everything that I was excited about with this movie just went downhill. You got Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. We had heard Russell Crowe was in this movie. The cast alone was getting me excited for this movie. And it just, so many things in this movie that was just wrong, that just didn't work. The humor was way too much in this movie. You would have someone's dying, and we're making a joke out of it. Someone's dying that Thor cares about, and we're making a joke out of it. And it doesn't work for me at all. I think technically, there's even moments in this movie where the special effects don't even look good. But a lot of technical moments look great. I love how colorful this movie is. The relationship between Thor and Jane Foster, I think, worked better than ever in this one, really. Except for certain scenes where it was just bad. The goats in this movie drove me nuts. We didn't get enough of Christian Bale in this movie at all. He never really slaughters any gods. He's supposed to be the God Butcher, and he doesn't do much, really. It's all off screen. Korg began to be someone that annoyed the ever-living crap out of me in this movie. Valkyrie is kind of sidelined in this movie. She doesn't have a heck of a lot to do. The movie just kind of, it's all one big joke. And it's a joke that just isn't funny anymore. And it just, this movie is one of the most frustrating movies of the year for me. I wanted it to be so much more than it actually was. And instead it's just this big old dumb joke. And like I said, guys, nothing in this list is terrible. The last three things we talked about are 4 out of 10s. They're just fine. I want them to be more than that, though. I don't want them to be fine. I want them to be good. And they're just not that good, honestly. And I've rewatched the 2 movies that we talked about, and they get worse every time you watch them. And Eternals, Love, and Thunder, in particular, are not things I want to rewatch at all. Just not good. And She-Hulk's another thing. I don't really want to rewatch it. I want to rewatch clips on YouTube. And that's about it. And that's where these 3 movies have been so far. Next up is Moonlight, guys. If you were watching the video of me reviewing Moonlight back in, what would it have been? In April? I was digging this show. And I've rewatched it. I've thought about it this entire year. It's getting worse for me. There are things about this show that I really, really like, particularly the acting, the characters themselves. But then by the end of the show, things just don't work out for me at the end of this show. Particularly when we got to the point where there was the talking hippo. It's really an interesting concept. And it's really interesting that we have a talking hippo character, but it feels like it's being weird just to be weird. And I think these things are in the comics, so it's not necessarily, it's following the comics, but for me, it just didn't quite work out. I loved a lot of elements of this. I love a lot of things about this, but at the end of the day, for me, it was just kind of a mess. This isn't bad, though. This is like 6 out of 10 for me. This is in the green zone. This is still really great. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But at the end of the day, I was just, I don't know. This is something that I think could have been really great and instead did some other things. And then by the last episode, it's just Power Rangers. And it just didn't work out for me by the end. And this is another thing, honestly, I almost could put this in the, in with the Werewolf by Night, where this doesn't really connect. It sounds like Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke are not coming back to do anything. Money talks, though. Maybe they will. This just feels so out of place, and it just doesn't feel right. There's a lot of good things, like I said, a lot of cool, interesting ideas. This show also is called Moon Knight, and there's really not that much Moon Knight in it, which is fine for, like, I don't know. The first couple episodes, I was okay with that. It was building to that. And I just think the payoff of that build didn't quite work. I think it would have been fine if the show didn't have a lot of Moon Knight, but it had paid off. I just don't think it paid off. It's an enjoyable show. It's just, the more and more I've thought about it, the less and less I like about it. And it's just left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know why, necessarily. It didn't work out for me the way I wanted it to. Still good. Just didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Next up, guys, we have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I've talked about this on my channel a couple times, too. If you go back, you'll see the videos and such. I didn't hate this movie. There's a lot of things about this movie I liked. However, particularly Wanda. And it was kind of set up in WandaVision, but we really don't see it. I feel like most of her turning into Scarlet Witch happened off screen. Like, yes, we saw it in that post-credit scene of WandaVision, but it wasn't enough. It just kind of went on to the next thing. I don't know if you can hear it, but someone's mowing the lawn or trimming bushes or something. Hopefully they'll stop soon. Hopefully you can't even hear it. That'd be really great. But yeah, I hate what they did with Wanda. America Chavez is a character that she has a lot of potential. At the end of the day, though, she's just a MacGuffin in this movie. There's not a lot of multiversing in this movie. We only go to like 2 multiverses. That's kind of a disappointment. There's lots of exposition dump in this movie. The whole scene where America and Steven just step on a thing and it gives them their memories. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's so dumb. I hate that scene. Just what they did with the what's it called now? The Illuminati. There we go. I was going to say the Imperium, and that's not right. The Illuminati. That scene with the Illuminati, they're just kind of taken out really quick. And it just, there was no, it almost just, it was fan service is what it felt like. It didn't feel like anything. You know, I like what it does with the character of Steven as a whole. This movie just didn't work for me. It really didn't. The first time I watched it, I really didn't like it. It was probably like a 4 out of 10 for me, 5 out of 10. And then I watched it again, and I saw all the good in it instead of the bad. This movie's fine, guys. There's a lot of good stuff. For me, it similar to Moonlight, it left a bad taste in my mouth. It really did. And just all these things didn't really come together. There's really cool elements, zombie strange, Scarlet Witching, but just nothing felt earned in this movie. And just things need to be earned. It needed to be more earned and not just thrown in there. There's cool elements, though. It's still an enjoyable movie. It's one I'll watch again. But, like, Black Friday, for example, I think this movie was, like, $17. It's not worth $17. It's worth, like, $10. It's worth $15. It's not worth $17. I can't put down $18 to pay for this movie, $17, $18 for this movie. I just can't. It's not that good. It's on Disney Plus. Might as well just watch it there. That's the kind of movie. Next up is Loki, guys. I know a lot of people absolutely loved this show. I liked the show for like 1 or 2 episodes. And then from there, it stopped being quite as good for me. Part of it is I like science fiction. I'm not like hardcore into science fiction. I don't love The Matrix. I don't love, I can't think of any more science fiction movies at the moment. I love things like Terminator. I like more simplistic science fiction. This went a little too far for my liking. My brain started hurting when I was watching this show. I guess I'm just not smart enough for it. It's not that it's bad. It's just, for me, it doesn't quite work. I loved the variants of Loki. I loved Loki looking back through the MCU. I love the chemistry between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. It was absolutely perfect. I really hated this last episode of Loki. It was all exposition dump, and it was absolutely boring and terrible. I just thought it was a terrible way to introduce Kong, however you say his name, King. Yeah, I wanted to love this show. I was probably most excited for this show. And, you know, it's still really good. This is like a 7 out of 10 for me. It's really good. It was a little too high-minded for me. Lots of things I liked. Lots and lots of things I liked. Like I said, the other variants of Loki looking back through the MCU, and that scene that Tom Hiddleston gives, such a great performance. Owen Wilson is such a great character. Morbius, I think his name is. Just great. A lot of great things. I liked Lady Loki. I thought she was a really great character. I loved all that stuff. It's just, I'm too stupid for this. I don't know. Like I said, it's enjoyable. Just not my favorite. Not one. I'm excited for season 2. I will rewatch season 1 before watching season 2 for sure. And I'm excited to see where this connects and fits in. I will say that. It's an enjoyable show. Just not my favorite. And not one I'm going to rewatch the way I have some other things. So that's Loki for you. I don't even know what number we're on. I totally lost count here. We are on... Hold on. We're gonna figure this out here. Let's see. So 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Hey guys, we're in 10 territory now, I think this is 10. I stopped counting. I'm a little tired today, guys. I am losing my mind. But we are at number 10. Black Widow is a movie that I know a lot of people have hated on. I really do enjoy this movie. I've watched this movie quite a few times. My biggest problem with this movie, honestly, is where it came out. When I rewatch this movie with other Marvel movies, I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to watch it right after Civil War. I think it still works if this movie had came out right after Civil War. Even with the death of Natasha, I think that would have been kind of interesting. Seeing her at the her sister at the gravestone, and then wondering, when's she going to die? How's she going to die? I think that could have been interesting. So for me, this movie would have done better, would have worked better. People would like this movie more, I think, if it had came out immediately after Civil War. The problem is it didn't, and people don't enjoy it. I love the family dynamic in this movie. I love the spy feel of this movie. It almost feels like a Bourne movie at times. I love the Taskmaster. I don't love that, like, Taskmaster really doesn't have any powers or anything, and it's not like the comics where it's witty and different. I don't mind it being a woman. I absolutely love that idea. I just wish it was more closely... I wish the values, the person itself, was more like the comics kind of version, because what I get from the comics is more of a Deadpool kind of person, except they learn and know every single move that you do, so you can never be ahead of them. And that's something that I wish the Taskmaster had more of. This movie was also just a wee bit too long, and Widow is surviving things in this movie that she should not be surviving. She's a normal person, and she is bumping into 16 things as she hits the freaking blacktop pavement. She should be exploded and dead. But she's getting up going, oh, no big deal. She's a person. She has no superpowers. She's just a person. So, in that sense, that also bugged me about this movie. But this is an enjoyable movie, guys, and I honestly think everyone should be watching Civil War and then watching this one. You're going to like this movie a lot more. Is it perfect? No. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. But, you know, it's higher up than a lot of other movies have been for me. And this is really an enjoyable movie. Scarlett Johansson just should have gotten this movie a lot sooner, and I think this movie would have been received a lot better. Really, really a good movie in my opinion. That Florence Pugh is going to be a great addition to the MCU, I think. And the relationship between her and her sister was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. So, MCU, rewatch of Phase 4. Black Widow's a lot better than we gave it credit for when it came out in May of 2021. Was it May of 2021? July 2021. A lot better. Like, rewatch it. Try it out again. It's better, I think. My opinion. Next up is Falcon the Winter Soldier. Guys, I was loving this show. Absolutely, really enjoying this show. Up until, like, episode 3, it started getting very... what's the word I'm looking for? Very preachy, I guess I could say. It was bringing up things that happened in life, which I don't know if it necessarily tried doing that. I know they rewrote things around this with the bad guys in this movie. I forget what they're called. I can't remember. But I know they rewrote things because it was feeling like they were using a virus to take everyone down, and it felt too COVID-y. There's a lot of, like, Black Lives Matter kind of stuff in here, and it felt so preachy. Instead of just doing it and have it be normal, they had to preach. However, I do love the action in this show. I loved the relationship between Bucky and Sam Wilson. I love that we got the Dora Milaje into this show, tying it into Black Panther and showing some of the things that Bucky went through in his time in Wakanda. We got, what's his name? Guys, I'm that tired today. U.S. Agent, Kurt Russell's kid, Wyatt Russell. I think all of that was great. This show has one of the most iconic images of the MCU, and just something that was so shocking when the agent takes the shield and freaking decapitates a guy's head, essentially. I mean, what a powerful show this was. Just preachy. The couple episodes towards the beginning with the Black Lives Matters kind of stuff and police brutality. And then by the end, this whole big speech that Sam Wilson gives as Captain America, it just... those parts did not work. Still, like I said, the action in the show is great. I think Zemo was a bit of a disappointment. Agent Carter kind of going on to her next thing was a little too much setup. This wasn't perfect, but there was a lot of great stuff in there. We also have the meme of Zemo dancing, which is, you know, that's great, I guess. Seems a little weird from what happened from Civil War. There's some plot holes, some conveniences, but still overall an enjoyable show. I love where they're taking Captain America and handing over the shield, passing the shield over. I like what they're doing. So I'm excited to see Captain America's New World Order or New Order or something like that. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see Bucky and Thunderbolts. Good golly, I am that tired. I need more of this. Oh, I'm excited to see where things go. So, Falcon Winter Soldier, overall, a really good show. I watched the show, I think I watched it like 3 times actually, 3 or 4 times. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this show. Just a lot of little minor things that came together, not making it the perfect show that I kind of wanted. And overall, though, really great show. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it. If you love Bucky, you love Sam Wilson, this is a show to check out. Next up, guys, What If? I know a lot of people did not watch this show or did not like this show. I know a lot of people wouldn't watch this show because it was animated. Guys, I love this show. This show is so much fun. And I love that you don't need to necessarily watch all of them in order. I've gone back one day and went, I want to watch something with zombies. So I went and watched the What If Zombies. But one day I wanted to watch something more, patriotic. I watched the first episode with What If Sharon Carter was Captain America. One day I wanted to watch before going to see Black Panther, I think I rewatched the Guardians of the Black Panther one. I mean, these are all really cool, little interesting shows. I love that they don't really connect, but they still do. There are same characters, just a little different, little twists on them. I loved it. I really do. I love the show. I love the craziness of it. I just love everything about it. I love that each episode didn't necessarily connect. I really did. I just had so much fun with this show. I love the humor in this show. I love the writing in this show. I love what they did with Ultron. I think Ultron is so much cooler in this show than he actually was in Avengers Age of Ultron. I think it was so great. The Watcher kind of coming out at the end didn't necessarily need to happen. I guess it needed to happen. It just felt weird having him come out, honestly, and not just be the Watcher, but I'm excited for season 2 for this one. I will be there day one watching that. Because it was just so interesting. And just fascinating. I love how weird and strange and different it is. And just everything they changed up with one little thing changing. Like the Doctor Strange episode, which I kind of thought might connect to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness more. It really didn't connect at all. But I also kind of like that too. It really doesn't need to connect, but it still uses the same characters. These are the same characters, just a little different. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. What is that? Is that 7? I keep trying to keep track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 8. Now you guys are kind of seeing everything that's coming up, but we'll still talk about these things. So this is number 7. Ms. Marvel, guys. I absolutely adored this show. I love that we got another culture. And I love that what's her name? Ms. Marvel. Why can't I remember her name now? Guys, I really am that tired today. I love that she's a child. I love that she's like, what is she, in middle school? Going into high school kind of thing? Like, she's very young. I think she's the youngest hero in the MCU, isn't she? I mean, I love that. I love that aspect. I love that younger kids now have a superhero. I love that we got this other culture and we got to see a family living their culture. I absolutely loved that. I love that we got to see the Pakistani part of this family and the culture and such like that. I love that we got that in the show. I liked the last episode a lot. It felt very Home Alone-y, but it was kind of cool. Yes, does it make total sense? No, but it's fine. It was fun. One thing that I didn't love about this show, really in particular, was them going back to the wall situation. I understand why they did that. For me, it just kind of, it took me out of the show a little bit. It almost didn't feel like it needed to be there. I think with this show, something I forgot to talk about with Falcon and Winter Soldier, actually. And this is another one. This show really doesn't need to be a show. I feel like take out a few episodes and just make it a movie. And that would have worked just as well, I think. And I think the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's a lot of fluff in some of these shows. And it should have been a movie, whereas something like Eternals should have taken in that TV spot instead. Still, a very enjoyable. I really did love this show. I really wish I knew her name, and I can't remember her stinking name. I need to get some more sleep, guys. What's the name? I'm going to look it up. We're going to look it up right now. Hey Siri, what is the name of Ms. Marvel's character in Ms. Marvel? Kamala Khan, that's her name. Kamala is such a great character. I absolutely love her. I love her her optimism and her attitude and just everything about her. Kamala is such a great character. I'm so excited that kids have Kamala to look up to now. I really did just overall love the show. I loved the child. I love that this is a show that people can introduce their kids to the MCU to. This is a great start of introducing kids to MCU, and they're going to just appreciate it more as they learn more about the MCU. The first time that we hear the word mutant dropped too in the MCU, bring on the X-Men, bring them on. I'm excited for where the MCU goes. I hope that they can improve, and they've learned from Phase 4 though with a lot of these little issues that I've had with the MCU. Really, at the end of the day, I don't have huge issues with a lot of these things. They're mostly minor, except for like Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals, which were just boring and too much humor, and She-Hulk, which just was unfocused. Minor things, really, that I've had with Phase 4, and I'm hopeful for the future. Next up, guys, Hawkeye. Another one that I know a lot of people did not like. I've loved Hawkeye. The first Avengers, I didn't love him necessarily, but I thought he was more badass than Captain America. That's probably a hot take. I thought Captain America was just a little Boy Scout in the first Avengers, and Hawkeye was a badass. Love Hawkeye in this. Yelena comes back from Black Widow. She does such great. Florence Pugh is just perfect. I love Haley Steinfeld in this role. I love the flippin' dog. What's his name? Pepperoni or something like that? Pizza? I forget what his name is. Something with pizza. Echo is so great in this. I know a lot of people didn't like Kingpin. I thought he was fine. Not great, but he was fine. For what they used him for, I think he was fine. What's the name of the group? The Jackets or something like that. I enjoyed that. The action in this was absolutely great. I love what they designed with this one. I love where it took place in like Rockefeller Center. I love that car chase sequence where it's all like one shot. I loved a lot of things about this. Her stepdad was a little bit off and didn't need to be in there almost. Like I said, Kingpin is not the greatest in this one. And again, I think this could have been a movie. It should have just been a movie. Give Hawkeye his goddamn movie. And I think it would have worked. Other than that, though, guys, I've really enjoyed this. This is a great Christmas show as well. I'm going to rewatch it for Christmas sometime this next month because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I think it's a good little Christmas show to watch. And I don't know. I had fun with it. I really did. I know that is not everyone's opinion, not even close, but I really enjoyed this one. I'm excited to see Kate Bishop move on to do other things in the MCU. I'm excited to see where Hawkeye goes. So excited to see Elena keep going and figure out what she's doing. I'm excited for an Echo show, even though I'm hearing there's some behind-the-scenes issues. Excuse me. I'm very excited for it. I really am excited for it. I absolutely adored this show. Little minor things really is only what bugged me about this show. We're in my top tier now. What are we at? 6? I think this is 6. I think. I'm bad at counting today, guys. I think this is 6. Number 5. Here's where I have a little bit of a cheat. Because I'm going to put Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and the mini Groot episodes, I Am Groot, together in one on this one. The little I Am Groot things are like 3 minutes long each for a total of like 15 minutes. And it's Guardians of the Galaxy. I had to put them together. I don't want to rate I Am Groot when they're just these little shorts. If I'm not going to put them in with this one, I'm not going to rate them at all. I'm not going to talk about them at all then. So I kind of wanted to put them together. The I Am Groot shorts, those came out before the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. And what I thought watching all those were how enjoyable they were. They made me smile. They made me chuckle. They're just adorable. They were great. They were great in that sense for what they were. They were nothing huge and nothing spectacular, but I had a smile on my face the entire time. That is the same thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I have not yet actually talked about it, period. We'll talk about it on this week's episode of Code Man Movies that comes out when I talk about everything I watched this week. So I'll go in more detail with it. But what I will say is I just had a smile the entire time. I love the Guardians characters. I really do. I love every single one of them. They're so much fun, so great. They're all unique and different. And I just love that both these Guardian specials put a smile on my face. And I was just smiling for a solid, between the I Am Groot shorts and the holiday special, for a solid hour. I'm just smiling and I'm happy and I'm having fun and I'm forgetting life and the terrible world that we live in sometimes. So that's what I really love about these shorts. That's why they're just in my top 5. There's not a whole heck of a lot wrong with it in my book. Is it silly and different? Is it silly? Yes. But it also moves the plot forward. We find out things. There's twists and turns in the holiday special. It moves the story forward while also still being silly and having Christmas songs and having us, hang out with certain superstars that I'm not going to talk about. Because if you didn't see the trailer, I hope you didn't see the trailer. It's not spoiled for you and you'll realize how big of a surprise it is. But guys, they made me so happy. I'll watch it again probably before Christmas because it was just such an enjoyable little 45-minute show. And the I Am Groot little short story things were very enjoyable as well. So I absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love these little shorts that we got this year. Number 5 for me. Number 4, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I enjoy the first Black Panther. I don't love it the way some people do. I was very curious how they were going to make this movie with the passing of Chadwick Boseman going on. And the movie basically just acknowledges it. The movie is basically it's a grieving movie for not only the characters in the movie, but for us. As an audience, we're letting go of Chadwick Boseman, essentially, and we're realizing it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to move forward. The action in this is better than the first one, in my opinion. Special effects were better in the first one than this one. This movie is way too long, but it is still very enjoyable. I was talking to someone at the bar last night that I work at. He still hasn't seen this movie, and he asked if he should go see it. I said, if you're a fan of the MCU, absolutely you should go see it. I said, if you like the first Black Panther, go see it. It's one you should see. I told him, it's long. It's way too long. It does not need to be as long as it is. There's some stuff, it's not perfect, but it's still very enjoyable. I love what it does for the MCU, and it's definitely a good ending of the MCU, Phase 4. It's a positive for me, more than it is a negative. I hope we get more movies like this, rather than Thor: Love and Thunder. There's humor in this movie, but it works. It's not making a joke when someone's dying. It's not, T'Challa died, ha 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 ha. No, it's giving us time to mourn this loss and still putting in some humor in there. Humor that works. Little things that are ridiculous and over the top. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is still a very positive movie for me. I talked about this in nauseum this last week with spoilers, and then 2 weeks ago with a non-spoiler review. So if you want more talk about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, check that out. A very solid movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and I'm excited to see where we're moving in the future with Black Panther, period, and then just the MCU. After Thor: Love and Thunder and after She-Hulk, I was kind of ready to just, I kind of was getting bored with the MCU. This movie got me back on track of getting back into the MCU. I'm not quite so bored with it. We've had a rough Phase 4, but we're going back up, I think. And I hope Ant-Man and the Wasp Into the Quantumanium is better and it helps bring up that trajectory. I'm hoping. Let's keep hoping. Number 3, guys, is Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Guys, I really like this movie a lot. I love the action in this movie. The effects were great in this movie. Such a solid movie. I love what they did. I don't mind the ending with the dragons and stuff. I know some people don't like that. I think it did do a final battle sequence kind of thing like a lot of Marvel movies do, but it did it in a very unique way. They're on dragons. There's the big talking wall. I love the mythology behind this one. Honestly, like, my biggest issue with this one was bringing back Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery. He's a little too goofy and weird, and his little dog pet thing was a little too weird. But, I mean, other than that, I love the relationship between Shang-Chi and his father, the actual Mandarin. I love Awkwafina in this movie. So much stuff to love about this movie. Just such a great movie. It's fun. It's exciting. Beautiful relationship of family again. And I had a blast with this movie. I really did. This is such an enjoyable Marvel movie. I can't wait to see where the 10 Rings brings us and how it gets put into the MCU. I love this movie. I hear the director is, directing, I think, the next 2 Marvel Avenger movies. Let's see if he actually stays on, because I think John Watts was supposed to do Fantastic Four, and now it's being done by... Who's doing that now? I don't even know who's doing it anymore. There's been a lot of directing shifts in the MCU lately, so I'm excited if that director stays on. I'm excited to see what he can do and what kind of Marvel movies we get coming up. But Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings was such an enjoyable movie. I had so much fun. I watched this a few times in theaters. I love that bus sequence. I love the sequence where they're on the scaffolding. I can't talk. On the side of the building with construction. I love that. Just such an enjoyable movie. A cool little, like, throwback to Kung Fu, while also just kind of introducing it to the MCU. It really is just a fun, cool, awesome movie. I really do enjoy this movie a lot. I honestly don't think this one's been talked about enough. It is such an enjoyable movie and underrated, in my opinion. Number 2, guys, WandaVision. I loved this show so much. There are issues with that final episode. Some twists and turns that come about. It feels like when you watch that episode, COVID had a lot to do with it. Just little thing, like Darcy just coming in for one scene. It feels like they couldn't get her, or there was just COVID issues, such like that. There feels like there were so many COVID issues with this show that kind of ruined it by the end. It didn't ruin it. It just made it less than what it should have been. I remember watching this week to week, guys, when it came out in, it would have been early 2020, I want to say, like January 2020. I had a friend at the time who's no longer my friend anymore, but we were watching this every week, and we were just theorizing on what could happen this next week, and we were talking about it all week long. It was all we talked about all week leading up to the next episode, and just so enjoyable. I love how we went through the different years of television. I love how they connected that to Wanda. I love what they did with the character of Wanda in this one. And I was hoping that it would set up and really do well with Multiverse Madness, and it just didn't for me. But I loved everything about this. One of the best lines in the MCU is Vision, and I'm going to botch this a bit, but he says, "What is grief but persevering," or something like that. I love that line. I loved in the real world when we were dealing with, was it AIM, I think? Yeah, I think AIM, that sounds about right. And I love where they took Vision with this one. I'm excited to see where the Gray Vision goes from here. I loved everything about this show. I really did. Catherine Hahn as Agatha. Darcy being brought back was great. I loved her in this show. We have, what's her name? It's, yeah, who's going to be in the next Marvels? Rambo. I'm excited to see her back. Agent Wu, who I thought was annoying in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love him in this show. I loved all the characters. I loved what they did with this. I like that they kind of brought back Quicksilver. By the last episode, they just made it a boner joke. That was dumb. But I liked how every week they were giving us these surprises and just everything about it. I love this show so much, guys. I have rewatched it so many different times. I think I've probably rewatched this show like 20 times. It's such an enjoyable show. I love it so much. I love her kids. Everything. It was such a great show. I love the show so much. I love the relationship between Wanda and Vision. I loved it. I love the mystery. I love, even rewatching it, you still feel the mystery of it. And I just love the show. I love the show. I don't have a lot else to say. I just love it. This is such a good show, guys. So guys, that's going to leave my number one being Spider-Man No Way Home. That shouldn't be too much surprise if you've been watching my channel. Guys, I absolutely love this movie. I can't believe it's been out for almost a year now. I've watched this movie, again, probably 20 times. I saw this movie like 9 times in theaters. I own it on 4K now, and I've watched it a few times. I love the relationship between Tom Holland Spider-Man and Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I love the dynamic. I don't feel that it's fan service or cash grabby. It worked. Peter got his father figures that he needed. I love that we got like this 6-movie arc of Spider-Man essentially getting his origin. I love that it was an origin story for him. By the end, he gets his "with great power comes great responsibility" speech. The relationship between MJ and him and Ned is so great, so powerful. I love that we brought back some of the villains. Sandman is kind of sidelined. The Lizard is 100% sidelined. Willem Dafoe, though, shines in this movie. He's so great. The whole Doctor Strange thing where he decides to do this thing for Peter Parker is a little out of place. It's a little convenient, but you just let it go. You let it happen because the movie itself is so great. Gosh, this movie is so good. There's so many great lines in this movie. Peter too, I love it. I love this movie so much. Kind of want to rewatch it. It's such a good movie. I probably will. It's kind of a Christmas movie. There's Christmas in it. I might have to rewatch it again soon. Such a good movie, guys. I've said so much about this movie already. Such a great movie, guys. If you've not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, what the hell are you doing? Watch that movie. And if you have seen it, watch it again. It's so good. It's such a good movie, guys. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. Maybe I should try doing a commentary of this movie sometime or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's such a good movie, guys. That is my number one of Phase 4. Really the only movie that I would say is top for me. This is nearly a perfect movie. Besides some minor conveniences. Oh, Ned just having his magical powers too. That and Doctor Strange doing what he did. That kind of brought it down to like a 9 out of 10 for me. Otherwise, this is a nearly perfect movie. I love this movie so much, guys. And I will watch it 100,000 times more because I love this movie so much. So yeah, guys, that is the end of my Marvel ranking for Phase 4. Let me know if there's some other kind of videos you'd like me to do. If you want me to rank the entire MCU. If you want me to talk about some TV shows. If you want me to do anything. I want to do a few extra videos coming down towards the end of the year. I should be having a little bit more time. I'm more part-time at my job now as I'm looking to move down south. I have booked tickets. I have a hotel. I have a rental car. Everything. I lined it up that I'm going to be going down to South Carolina December 12th through the 16th. And I'm going to be looking at apartments. I'm going to be looking at jobs. And I'm hopefully going to be out of Wisconsin by January. And I am going to be rebooting my life. I'm going to be restarting over and having a fresh start, which I just think I need. I need to get away from the cold. And I need to start over. And I'm really hopeful for what's to come. So yeah, I hope I'm going to have some more time while I'm still working part-time, slowly training in new people. But new people are coming in, therefore they need the hours more than I do. So yeah, I'm going to think about what some other videos I can maybe do. I don't necessarily want it all to be about the MCU. I want to look at other things that I could possibly do. I actually kind of want to do a Black Friday video. I want to wait till after Cyber Monday, though, because I think I might be buying a couple more things within the next few days here. So yeah, We will be talking soon. I will hopefully have a video up by Wednesday or Thursday on the movies I've watched this week. But we will see what happens because my life is crazy and I just cannot commit to a certain day. But hopefully for the rest of the year, I'll have 2 videos up, bringing me almost to 50 videos we've done this year that we've been together as Codeman Movie Podcast. So, yeah, guys, I don't got much else to say. That's about it. I hope you guys have a really great rest of your Thanksgiving week, and I will see you real soon. Keep watching those movies. Keep watching those TV shows. Keep doing things that make you happy. If you're in a cold climate, don't let the cold get to you. Don't do it. Yeah. Other than that, guys, gobble, 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 gobble.